Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive edition of Entertainment Buzz, where we dive deep into the heart-pounding world of celebrity showdowns that leave audiences gasping for more. Today, we're unraveling one of the most talked-about meltdowns in recent television history, the infamous moment when legendary actor Sir Anthony Hopkins stormed off the set of the popular British daytime show Loose Women after a blistering confrontation with fiery panelist Denise Welch. Picture this: it's a bright afternoon in the ITV studios, the kind of setting where stars are supposed to sip tea, share laughs, and plug their latest projects without a care in the world. But oh, how quickly the tide can turn when egos clash and tempers flare like a Welsh dragon awakened from slumber. Anthony Hopkins, at 87 years young, the man who's embodied Hannibal Lecter with chilling precision and brought gravitas to everything from The Silence of the Lambs to The Father, arrives with his trademark poise, ready to chat about his upcoming film, a poignant drama exploring the fragility of memory in old age. The Loose Women panel, a quartet of unfiltered voices led by the ever-opinionated Denise Welch, greets him with applause and eager smiles, but beneath the surface, there's that electric undercurrent of unpredictability that makes live TV so dangerously addictive. Denise, a veteran of the soap world from her Coronation Street days and no stranger to controversy herself, having battled personal demons and sparred publicly with figures like Katie Hopkins, leans in with her signature blend of warmth and wit, her Geordie accent wrapping around words like a comforting yet probing embrace. The tension coils tighter as Hopkins responds, his voice a low rumble like distant thunder rolling over the Welsh valleys of his youth, measured yet laced with an undercurrent of steel that hints at the storm within. MS. Welch, he says, the formality a deliberate barrier, his Welsh lilt softening the edges but not the intent. I've spent a lifetime excavating the human soul on screen, from the barbarity of Lecter to the quiet despair of fathers losing their grip on reality. But my private wars? They're not fodder for afternoon entertainment. The audience murmurs, a ripple of surprise mixed with delight at the unscripted authenticity unfolding before them, while Denise, ever the resilient fighter, doesn't flinch. Instead, she tilts her head, her blonde curls catching the studio lights like a halo of defiance, and counters with the fervor of someone who stared down her own abyss.
Oh, come on, Anthony, wie real friends here.
Loose Women is about real talk, stripping away the gloss to get to the grit. You've inspired so many with your candor. Remember that interview where you called sobriety your greatest role? Why shy away now? Her words hang in the air, a challenge wrapped in camaraderie, but to Hopkins, they land like an unwelcome spotlight on wounds long bandaged. The panel jumps in sporadically, Nadia interjecting with a soft here, vulnerability is strength, while Kay attempts a pivot. Speaking of roles, tell us about this new film, it's getting Oscar whispers already. But the momentum has shifted irrevocably, the conversation derailing like a train off its tracks into the ravine of personal intrusion. Hopkins' jaw sets, a telltale sign from his method acting playbook, and he leans forward, his presence commanding the space despite his seated posture, the sheer force of his gaze pinning Denise in place.
Inspiration? Perhaps.
But inspiration isn't an invitation to dissection by strangers on national telly. The breaking point arrives with the subtlety of a guillotine's fall, swift, decisive, and utterly irreversible, as Hopkins rises from his chair, his movements fluid yet fraught with a weight of finality, like a king abdicating a throne mid-coronation. Enough, he declares, his voice cutting through the din like a director's cut. On a tense set, echoing off the studio walls and silencing the panel mid-breath. The audience, that devoted cadre of daytime devotees, erupts into a cacophony of reactions, some applauding the stand for dignity, others murmuring in shock at the abruptness, their faces a mosaic of wide-eyed awe and whispered speculations. Denise Welch, caught off guard for the first time in the skirmish, extends a hand in placation, her expression a whirlwind of apology and defiance. Anthony, wait, I didn't mean to. But the words trail off as he turns, his back a broad canvas of tweed jackets straining against shoulders that have carried the world in roles from Nixon to Pope Benedict. The camera, ever the impartial voyeur, captures it all, the slight tremor in his step not from age but adrenaline, the way his hand brushes the mic pack free with practiced efficiency, a remnant of stagecraft from his National Theatre glory days. Producers scramble behind the glass partition, headsets buzzing with urgent commands. Hold the feed.
Get security subtle.
While the panelists freeze in a tableau of regret and restraint, Nadia covering her mouth, Kay mouthing silent pleas. Hopkins pauses at the edge of the set, turning just enough for a parting shot that lands with the precision of one of his soliloquies. This isn't Loose Women, it's an ambush masquerading as empathy. I've faced worse than this in the bottle, but I'll not dignify it further. In the blistering aftermath, as the studio lights dim and the Loose Women theme jingle plays to a half-hearted audience clap, the world outside explodes into a frenzy of finger-pointing and fervent defenses, turning what was a contained clash into a nationwide spectacle that dominates every feed and front page. Social media, that relentless arena of instant judgment, becomes ground zero, Hashtag Team Hopkins surges with posts hailing the actor's dignified departure as a masterclass in boundary setting, clips of his exit remixed with dramatic scores from his films, garnering millions of views overnight. Sir Anthony just lectured that nonsense, Chianti for everyone. Tweets one viral user, while fan accounts flood timelines with montages of his career triumphs, underscoring the ingratitude of turning a promotional spot into a therapy session. Conversely, hashtag Stand With Denise rallies around the panelist, portraying her as a champion of raw honesty in an era of polished pretense, supporters sharing her mental health advocacy clips and decrying Hopkins as out-of-touch aristocracy. Denise asked what we all wonder: celebrities aren't islands. Hashtag Mental Health Matters declares a thread that spirals into thousands of replies, blending solidarity with subtle shade at the posh actor's prickliness. Mainstream outlets pile on. The Sun splashes Hopkins' Fury walkout, with paparazzi shots of him leaving the ITV lot, expression thunderous under a grey London sky. The Guardian pens a thoughtful op-ed on the ethics of daytime probing, interviewing former guests who've weathered similar storms. Even the New York Times chimes in with a transatlantic take, linking it to broader Hollywood reckonings on privacy post hashtag #MeToo. Peering deeper into the psyches at war, this clash reveals layers as intricate as a Hopkins monologue, where personal histories collide with professional personas in a symphony of scars and spotlights that few encounters so vividly expose. Anthony Hopkins, born in the smoky industrial haze of 1937 Port Talbot, grew up in a home shadowed by his father's stoic silences and his mother's quiet endurance, forging a boy who found solace in cinema's escapism, Bogart's cynicism, Guinness's guile, before the bottle became his false friend in youth's reckless rebellion. By 25 he'd stormed RADA, but success's siren song drowned in alcoholism's undertow, blackouts on Broadway, brawls in bars, a near-fatal 1975 intervention where Laurence Olivier's blunt pull-yourself-together boy became his unlikely lifeline. Sobriety at 32 birthed a renaissance. Othello on stage symbolized intensity, but the ghosts lingered, surfacing in roles that mirrored his mending. The fractured psychiatrist in The Girl from Petrovka, the haunted butler in The Remains of the Day, each performance a private exorcism veiled in public acclaim. Interviews, rare and reticent, hint at therapy's toll, decades unpacking the emotional constipation of Welsh reserve. Yet he guards that inner sanctum fiercely, viewing vulnerability as a tool, not a trophy. Enter Denise Welch, 67 and forged in Newcastle's gritty forge, her trajectory a stark counterpoint. Coronation Street's fiery Natalie Horrocks in the 90s, masking her own descent into depression's grip, postnatal woes spiraling into suicidal ideation, a 2013 car window leap attempt that etched survival into her soul. Rehab at the Priory, advocacy with mind, and loose women's confessional candor became her armor, transforming pain into power. Memoirs like The Unbreakable Spirit detailing breakdowns with brutal honesty, earning her a mantle as mental health's unapologetic herald.